What's up, guys? I've been working on the Honda still. I haven't filmed a whole lot, but making some good progress. I got the transmission in, which I think I showed already, but went ahead and got the slave cylinder back on. The line, starter, wiring all buttoned up there. So all of this end is pretty much good to go. I still got to get underneath and put the bolts in on the bottom side of the transmission. Like this stuff here, the dust shield, this little bracket, this stuff, that all goes on the bottom side of the transmission. Other than that, I need axles. I called AutoZone. They don't have them in stock, so I'm going to get those tomorrow. But other than that, I mean, pretty much it's all bolt-on stuff. I got to get the VTEC solenoid back on. Try to drill the bolt out of the distributor and get it back on. Header. Get the valve cover painted, get it on, and pretty much we're about ready to start it at that point. It'll still need coolant and belts, and it needs an alternator. The alternator's bad, but we don't need any of that stuff to start it. So hopefully maybe later tonight I'll be able to try to go ahead and start it up. Hey, what's up, YouTube? Back out in the shop tonight working on the Honda. Made it up to AutoZone, got some new axles. So we got those babies right here, both sides. I actually had warranty on my old ones, but they were reman and they discontinued them, so had to actually get a refund and then buy these new ones, which are new instead of reman. Also got another quart of gear lube for the transmission, some oil and oil filter. Still working on this distributor, which I don't remember if I filmed already or not, but the screw on the bottom that holds the cap on broke off a long time ago, like probably like 10 years ago or something. I did a tune-up on it, and trying to take the screw out, it actually broke off. So not sure what was going on there, if the previous person had cross-threaded it or what, but I figured while we're doing all the rest of this work, it'd be a good time to go ahead and fix that. So started trying to drill it out. Unfortunately, didn't work as well as I'd hoped, so gonna have to take a plan B on that. As you saw in the previous video, I got the valve cover painted, but it didn't look very good. I tried, just didn't come out good, and that's okay. I mean, a lot of times we do things and it comes out really nice, and sometimes we do things and it doesn't come out very nice. But the important thing is that we learn from it and we just keep going, don't give up. Everybody's going to make mistakes. It's perfectly fine to make a mistake as long as you learn from it and you bounce back and keep on going. So thanks for watching. Thanks for being here. I appreciate all the likes and the comments. Please subscribe. Stick with us. Hopefully we'll have this thing back ripping soon so I can take Brendan out to Mexico in the STI there and show him what's up with these little Honda engines. Alright guys, quick peek under the car here. As you can see, I didn't clean up all of this stuff. I took the oil pan off, as you saw, and got it back on and all that. I did not clean up the block very well. But whatever. Maybe one of these days I'll pull this thing all the way out. Got my mounts in that I made, as you saw in the previous video. That one in. Got that one in. So I'm pretty stoked on those. I think they came out really good. I'm happy with it. They fit really well and everything. Had to make hardly any adjustments. So that was cool. Transmission stuff's all back in. I didn't show you, I actually put the energy suspension polyurethane bushing in the shift linkage. And unfortunately, right now, I can't find the stupid roll pin that holds this linkage together right here. I don't know what I did with it. I've misplaced it here somewhere, but I guess that's what you get when the car's been apart for 3 years or whatever before you try to put it back together. So, yeah, everything's pretty much done under here. Tonight, I'm going to spin a new oil filter on it up there. Put I forget what they call that. Put the shaft in that goes across here. That half shaft. put the axles back in, probably put the header on, drop it down, and just keep on plugging along. This is one little extra thing that I wanted to do while I was at it, especially with that jack shaft out. Makes it so much easier to get to this. So not really needed for what we're doing right now. Just don't tell my wife that. So I'm just I took the oil pressure switch out. I'm going to put this fitting in to the block where that went. Put this switch here. And then we have another port on the end where I can put a 4AN fitting to run a turbo oil feed line up. This oil pressure switch is in the first stop in the rifle right after it comes out of the filter. So it's a great place to get clean oil from for the turbo. Alright guys, you can see here I got my adapter in, screwed it into the block, got the end of it plugged, and then my oil pressure switch, the factory switch on the top, so that the oil pressure light will still work. If and when I get to the point that I want to put a turbo on this thing, all I'll have to do is just take this plug out of the end, put a 4AN fitting there, probably put a 90 on it, and then run a line straight up and over to the turbo. Got my new oil filter on. I'm going to go ahead and put this jack shaft in, and we'll be ready to bolt on axles in the header at that point. Another part here, guys, that I've had for a long time, like a couple of years, this thing's been laying around. So there we go, $50 eBay header. Just got to put my oxygen sensor in there, throw it down in there and bolt it up, and we'll be good to go. The first round there I just went to 12 just to make sure that I had everything pulled down tight and even. Now I'm going to go to 23 for the final torque on it, starting in the middle and working my way out back and forth. That'll do it. Alright guys, I got the header on. I don't know if it's just because it's eBay junk or maybe it's for a cable trans or what, but we do have a problem. The slave cylinder's hitting there. So you can see that. You should be able to see. So the bleeder on the slave cylinder is hitting. I had to take the slave cylinder back off to get the header on. I was hoping that maybe once it got all the way into place that it might clear, it might go behind it or whatever, but it didn't. So not sure what I'm going to do with that just yet. Slave cylinder obviously needs to be bolted solid. That's what works the clutch. We might be able to take that big long bleeder out and put a little short, like a plug in there, if I can figure out what the thread is. We might be able to bend or dent the header a little bit. I don't want to, but not a whole lot of options there. So I'm just going to leave it for now. I'll think on it. I got plenty of other work to do, and we'll get back to it in another video. Still plugging along here on the Civic. I filmed part of it, not all of it, but just trying to get things back together. I went ahead and got the radiator hose on. VTEC solenoid was in another video. Header I showed. I got the bottom part of the header hooked up. I did mention the slave cylinder issue. Still not sure what I'm going to do with that. One thing I did want to show you real quick. These things from the factory have a coolant line that runs out of the thermostat housing right here over to the bottom of the throttle body, and then out of the throttle body over to this, that valve on the back's like your idle air control motor, but it runs coolant through there. The valve then adjusts based on the coolant temperature, raises the idle up when it's cold. So that basically works like an electronic choke. So we want to keep that in the system, but I never understood why we would want to run hot coolant through the bottom of the throttle body and heat the throttle body up. So there's supposedly some advantage to it in cold temperatures, yada yada yada, I don't know, but to me it makes no sense to run a cold air intake and then heat the throttle body up. So as you can see, I went ahead and disconnected the lines from there, and then I've had this this nice piece of silicone hose for quite a while now, just laying in my toolbox. That's some high dollar stuff, but what I did is I just cut a piece of that and put it onto the thermostat housing here, bypassed the throttle body, and then connected it down to the that idle air control valve. So that'll get the hot coolant out of the throttle body. Like I said, that's something I've been wanting to do for years. I just never have got around to it. So I finally got that one knocked off. We're getting super close on this thing. The big ticket items that we have left are distributor, working on that bolt like I showed you. Alternator's not going to go on, but that's okay. We can start it with that. Got to put the oil in it, of course. Valve cover, which you saw in another video. Got to get that thing put on. What else? Distributor, valve cover. I'll probably put the cold air intake on just so that we can plug in the IAT. But other than that, I mean, I think it's ready to start pretty much. Distributor, valve cover, and oil. I think that's all I really have to do to start it. Besides that, I do still need to get the axles in. I just haven't done that yet. I've just been working on other stuff. Not sure what to expect from the fuel pump when we try to kick it on. It's been sitting here literally for like 5 years. So not sure what we're going to get when we try the fuel pump. Probably would be a good idea to drain any gas that might be left in it. Put some fresh gas in it. So I'll try to get to that. I ordered a roll pin where the shift linkage goes to the transmission. And I'm still going to put the energy suspension piece on the back of the shift linkage right under the shifter itself to tighten that up a little bit. Other than that, we're pretty much ready to go. So I'm going to go ahead and cut this video off here. I appreciate you guys watching. I appreciate you following along with the build. Please like and subscribe. Those subscriptions really mean a lot to me. I'll put a button right down here that you can click. Makes it super easy. So please help a guy out. Give me a subscribe. And yeah, other than that, thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the next one.